I watch over and over again, people trying to make their relationship work with just being part ways in, not fully being committed. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Is I want to talk about the idea of commitment and what that looks like. And I think a couple of things that happens, we probably commit to the wrong things a lot of times, or in other situations, we're committed depending on what's going to happen. And all those things make it a little bit hard. So we're going to talk about that today, so that we can get our relationships on track and really focus, have the right kind of focus. So it's 4:30. We'll go ahead and get started. But one of the things that I feel like is a huge underlying scenario for people not being able to make a relationship work is that the commitment piece is missing. And so we have to be able to make a commitment to ourselves and our relationship. Our self part is probably the beginning of that, and it's the most important piece. And so what actually makes us hesitant to make a commitment to ourselves in the relationship? I have 5 things that I watch that I think will be useful for you to be able to pay attention to. One is not really knowing how to commit. And so we think that we're committed in certain ways, but just not really conscious about what that actually looks like. And we'll get into that in a little bit. And then a lot of times we're fighting just to not get hurt. So it's not a matter of us committing or not committing. We're just trying to make sure that we're not having to experience emotional pain. The third thing that I watch happening that keeps us from really wanting to commit is we have a training that kind of asks us not to commit to ourselves. And so the way I see it happening a lot of times is whatever previous relationships we have, whether it's parent-child or a different romantic relationship, the people that we're in relationship with a lot of times keep us from committing to ourselves, or don't want us to commit to ourselves, because it allows a certain kind of interaction. So I always call that interaction abusive. So if somebody is not for you and you're for you, there's no way that they can perpetrate abuse. So we really have to look at that. I mean, a lot of times we're accidentally trained to really not commit to ourselves, not believing that we make a difference in our relationship or even in our life. And so our belief system is the first part of anything that we do. And so if we don't believe that, that's going to make us hesitant to commit. The 5th thing is whatever we're doing right now that's not conducive to the future version of ourselves that we want, or the future version of the relationship that we want, we don't really want to let go of it. So it might be a belief that we're holding on to, a past pain, certain actions that we're trying to keep in our lives, avoidance, all those things. We want to try to hold on to those things as much as possible, and we're afraid to let go. Those 5 things, are pieces that really keep us from being able to commit to long-term versions of ourselves. And so if you're watching this on replay, you can pause and go back and kind of pick out, which one for you is something that makes you hesitant to commit. It's worth looking at, because we got to get to commitment. All right, so why should you commit? Why is this even important? I think that when you're intrinsically motivated by something, it raises your ability to interact whenever things go wrong. So if you're connected to your relationship just based on what another person's doing, as soon as that goes bad, you're not committed fully or inside, and it keeps you from being able to do the things that will keep you on the track to having the relationship you want. The second thing is that a committed individual has a behavioral source besides the emotions. And so you're not going to just interact based on, I feel this way, and so I'm going to do this, right? I feel mad, so I'm going to act mad. Or I feel happy, and I'm going to follow that. Instead, you're committed, and that means that you're going to actually act on who you want to be or what you're trying to get to. The third thing that I think, the third reason I think that commitment is something you should have in your life is that it gives your relationship a sense of security. It gives you a sense of security. The more that you're committed to something, you know that you're going to constantly show up. And we need that predictability and that security in order for us to benefit and grow our relationship. All right, so how do we actually commit? And this is kind of bringing everything home. These seem simple, but they're very difficult. So I have 3 ways. The first thing, and we started to mention this earlier, is to believe that you deserve something amazing. And that's a challenging thing to sometimes look in the mirror and be able to say, is that I actually deserve something amazing. And so start there, though. Work on that belief and really make it a practice of yours to start developing that belief system. Make a commitment to certain actions and personal work that you will do to get to realizing that amazing. And so there are certain things that you're going to have to do to be able to get there, and everybody will have their own, but things like taking care of your body and making sure that you're resting and making sure that you're showing up in a certain way, all of those pieces, they're small little pieces that add up to a bigger picture that really kind of match in or mesh in well with that belief system. And the third thing that I think really helps is practice mindsets that are for you. So a lot of times we have mindsets that are for other people and or mindsets that battle other people. But if we can start developing mindsets that are actually for us, it starts creating this level of commitment that we need to ourselves. Again, I think all of those are probably easy for us to think about, but it's very challenging for us to actually do. And so the more you realize, and I think anybody who has been in a relationship that's successful will know that it starts out with some form of commitment and being really conscious about the commitment that you're making to yourself. If you go relationship first on this, thinking like my relationship deserves this, I don't think that will be as effective as if you say, you know what, I deserve the best and I got to do all the things that follow that. And a commitment level that's high gives you that ability to do that. All right, I'm going to just make sure I check the comments because I always get off and end up missing some comments, and probably today there are none, but somehow I might have missed it. So I'm just making sure. Okay. All right, you guys, so that's our Wednesday Elevate Your Relationship group conversation. I'll be back every week. Keep that interaction coming. Both in our group and I'll keep feeding as much as I can. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good day.